There are only a couple of events each year in the off-campus student housing industry that brings all of the industry leaders together. The premier event for the industry is the Interface Student Housing Conference in Austin, Texas. For 2023, this event is being held April 3rd through 5th and will draw over 1,000 attendees and a complete who's who list of executives from the management, development, and investment firms under one roof at the JW Marriott in Austin for 3 days of sessions, roundtables, and networking. So who are some of the folks attending this year's Interface Conference? Well, let's meet one of them right now. Lee, I hear you're going to Austin, and this is going to be the first time for you.
Yeah, that it is. Visited the city many times, but I got to tell you, excited about being part of this process now. This is going to be neat.
Well, yeah, welcome to the Interface Conference. I know it's still a couple of weeks out, but I'll go ahead and welcome you to that. Yeah, it's a fantastic conference for anybody that's looking to get into the student housing business, either from a supply side like yourself,
right,
or from an investment or development standpoint. This is kind of the conference to go to and meet all the players that are involved, and so glad you guys are able to do it. But hey, for folks that don't know about DKI, and I've got to say that we had a little bit of an introduction from one of our other sponsors, OMNIA Partners, which we're going to talk to Ken Miller a little bit later. And you could talk a little bit about that, but for our audience who knows nothing about DKI, can you give them that 30 to 90 second elevator pitch?
All right. So DKI, basic storyline, started in 1974, group of individuals getting together that were in the wind, water, and fire business, helping each other, growing each other, decided to expand this network opportunity to more membership, because the bigger they could grow with regards to different resources could expand their business. Today, that business has expanded beyond the wind, water, and fire, even beyond the mold, because that's kind of the Me Too where everybody is in this industry. We've gone into the environmental side. So now we're in a situation where DKI can provide student housing, as our example, the ability to do everything from soup to nuts. If we're looking at it, the wind, water, and fire, you get environmental needs, disease management, you name it. We've got a general array of assisting to do that. And we continue to expand our services. We continue to look at the opportunity to work to try to be that one-stop shop for a client, giving them the resources internally and externally to build and service their needs every day.
Great. And you guys are based in Chicago, is that right?
That's where our base home office is. We're much like a lot of companies today, right? We're national.
Yeah.
So we're spread across the country. We have several members. But when you think about our member network is spread literally across this country.
Gotcha. So it's not necessarily DKI offices spread out, in all of these locations. You guys are actually working with other folks.
Correct.
In those areas.
DKI is a member network. So what we've got is, roughly speaking, over 160 members and affiliates that are coming together as one big network of companies. And a big difference between ours and theirs is that we've got ladies and gentlemen that own these companies that have been in the industry, and they're vetted providers. These are folks that not only carry the insurance and the training and so on, but they have to make sure that they have an ongoing training program, the ongoing business reviews of the programs, the right pricing, the right process to work within the DKI membership, working with our DKI clients. So we bring a different model to the world.
So it sounds like anything from making repairs after a storm or some type of natural event to disease control. I'm assuming that's kind of everything from COVID to maybe bed bugs.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've had calls for bed bugs as well and helped out with that. It's an interesting industry. We've gone from the ability to do the wind, water, and fire process, but when we think about the environmental side, we've got folks on our team that can assist in spotting, taking care of Legionella. We've got people to help with the COVID cleanups. We've got people that, unfortunately, in this society have dealt with trauma cleanups. We can do those and have done those. But then your simple stuff, your bio cleanup, stuff that happened, everything from your basic sewer messes, things of that effect, all of it can be taken care of. And it's from beginning through repairs. So when you think about it, you call us up, we come in and clean it up, take care of it, do whatever needs to be done. But if there's repairs that need to be done, we do that as well.
Gotcha. So you said this isn't your first time to the city. So any recommendations for maybe somebody maybe this is going to be their first time in Austin? Any favorite restaurants or anything?
You know what? If I sat and listed off my favorite restaurants, you wouldn't have time. We'd be sitting here for a long time. Austin is a great town and a growing town. I got to tell you, what it used to be years ago when I started traveling for business to what it is today, get out and see Austin. If you get a day to be there ahead of time or a day to be there afterwards, see Austin. It is beautiful because it's just a great town. It's a great town. Probably one of my favorite spots in Texas.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, I didn't ask you about this previously when we were kind of setting up for this, but, obviously the turnover period in the summer is something that, was consistent throughout student housing. Is that something that DKI can help with as well? Or is that
that's something that's actually one of the pieces that's I would say in a bit of a development thing for us. We've been able to assist apartment housing with regards to paint turns, maintenance work, things like that. And it's continuing to grow. As a matter of fact, we're partnering with a company now that's given us a whole other set of portfolio services that we're able to look at doing with that process.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah. So it's something like I said, we're constantly in that evolution, looking at what are the things that the clients need. We want to give them that opportunity that if they think, hey, I've got this need, pick up the phone and call one number. I've got a partner, because that's what we're looking to be. Is we want to be their partner.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. Well, hey, last thing I want to ask you, I know this year you guys are not doing a booth. Maybe that's something you guys will do in the future, but if somebody wants to get a hold of you and set up a meeting, in advance or, while they're there, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
The best way to get a hold of me would be my email address. And I can leave that here with you. And that's going to be Shoop, SHOOP, at DKIServices.com.
Right.
They send me an email there. They happen to see me walking in the hallways. I've got one of the new electronic cards. It's pretty sweet. I tap their phone. My whole contact goes in. They don't even have to enter it. So we can make it pretty easy for them.
Well, great. We'll put a link to that in the show notes for sure. Thanks so much for spending some time with us today and letting us know what DKI is all about. And we'll talk a little bit more with Ken and the relationship between you guys.
Oh, yeah. Please do, because I got to tell you, the OMNIA opportunity with us and how we've continued to expand each other's portfolio has been great. And we really enjoy that opportunity to talk more about it.
Well, great. Well, let's talk with him now.
All right, great. Appreciate it.
Ken Miller, how are you doing?
I am doing great, Wes. It's a beautiful St. Patty's Day today. Happy to be here.
Well, we just got off a little bit ago with Lee Shoop from DKI. And he was telling us a little bit about the partnership that you guys with OMNIA Partners now have with him, and wanted to bring you in and talk. He's going to be a first time attendee this year.
Yes, he is.
And I told him he was probably matched up with the best veteran that there is when it comes to interface.
The old guy here, the veteran.
So, hey, for everybody in our audience who, obviously you're a co-host on our podcast. So I know a lot of our audience members will know you from that. But for those that don't know anything about OMNIA Partners, can you kind of give them a brief description or a brief elevator pitch, if you would?
Yeah, sure. So when I mention GPO, everybody kind of glazes over. So we kind of get past that. But OMNIA Partners is a group purchasing organization, or GPO. What that really means is that we are a buying group that assists with the more informed purchasing decisions that happen both at the property and corporate level. And that's not the purchasing decisions of buying a property. That's the purchasing decisions of everything you have to run a property. So I always tell people that if you can break it, fix it, repair it, replace it, rehab it, we're the place you want to come first. Ask the question of us. It's likely that we have a supplier partner that A, you're either working with, or B, that we can recommend to you to get those jobs done, both property level as well as corporate.
As a consultant, when I'm working, with a client, there's typically some type of project, be it a renovation or, maybe even, a new delivery. But, when it comes to things like, you got to buy 180 TVs, or you've got to, replace out a bunch of air conditioners or whatever, I'm able to give you guys a call and, have you guys kind of bid that out. And it's such of a kind of a hands off. You guys are able to take care of that, source it, find the best pricing, and it's a huge benefit. So if any of our, friends with operating companies out there know nothing about OMNIA partners, make sure that you follow up with Ken for sure. Well, hey, we want to talk to you a little bit about maybe helping some of our audience members with Austin. First of all, let's talk about the conference itself. I mean, this is what number is this for you?
Let's see. I think this is either 7 or 8, maybe. You kind of lose count over time. And when the more you age, the less you remember. I think is the way the saying goes. But it's got to be at least 7 or 8 now that I've attended, and love to go to Austin every chance I get. As you know, I was in San Antonio for 3.5 years, and as many times I got to go back and forth to Austin. So if you give me that opportunity to get there, I'm on a plane.
Probably a few of those times out of those 8, you were probably there as an operator versus as a supplier.
That's right. Absolutely. Been in student housing now, Wes, since I believe it was about 2001.
Yeah.
So I guess that does put me on the almost retiree list or something for owner operators or suppliers. But, it's been a fun journey to watch this whole student housing sector grow. I was part of, I think I was one of 4 companies that was back in the day, so to speak. And now we've seen it grow to over 40 or so that are out there. And it's really nice to be able to watch an industry grow. And more importantly, I know the audience that you service is really very passionate to me too, because that's where the rubber meets the road. So being able to reach out to community directors, to maintenance folks, the people that make it happen every day, that's a great thing you're doing here. And it's also been really phenomenal to watch these folks grow over years and now see them in roles of, in the C-suite and the senior leadership roles, et cetera. It's a really fun industry to be in.
Yeah. So you get to Austin a lot more than just for this annual conference. Just kind of curious, are there any restaurants or points of interest that you would say, hey, if this is one of your first times going to Austin, or you haven't been to Austin for a while, what kind of suggestions would you have for them to make sure that they see before they leave?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of places close by the hotel, but if you are adventurous and you want to grab an Uber or a Lyft and get a little further out, one suggestion I could make, and I'll have to give a shout out to one of my friends, Rob Witt, who is a group facilities manager over at Cardinal, and that is Buenos Aires restaurant. It's over on 6th Avenue. I can give you the address. You can put it out there for folks to look at. But if you like Argentine food and cuisine, that's your place to go. Empanadas, gnocchi, etc. Great food, reasonable prices, and a really kind of like cottagey type of setting. Excuse me. So a good place to hang out.
Okay, well, great. Yeah, I'll have to add that. I haven't heard of that one yet, so that might have to go on my list for this trip. Well, hey, any services or anything that OMNIA has launched this past year, looking forward to launching in the short-term future that you want to make sure our audience knows about?
Yeah. So, at the heart of what we do is we have a multitude of supplier partner relationships. The most obvious ones that are out there, HD Supply, Lowe's Pro Supply, Sherwin-Williams, Granger, Ferguson, but we go beyond MRO and we get into other areas of the business too that may not necessarily be something that owner operators understand. DKI is one that they may not have heard of before, where you've got the ability to call upon them to do either restoration work or light repairs at the property. We've also introduced, I guess I should say, we have over 100 supplier partners that we work with now within the multifamily sector, but we're constantly introducing new ones each year. And we've got about 12 in the hopper now. I can't divulge who they are yet, but I can tell you the most recent 2 that would be beneficial to our industry here are Club Car, which is obviously the golf cart folks.
Yeah.
Producers, yeah. And then another one that we literally just launched this past week is Modally. And somebody's going to say, well, what is that? It's Motili. They are a division of Daikin Goodman. So if you are looking for a direct relationship for HVAC supplies, equipment, and the actual systems themselves, that's a good place to start. And we can provide you some quotes on that. But a lot of folks we're working with, Interplay Learning is another that comes to mind. They design learning courses, and they're more virtual in nature, and they're specifically designed for the maintenance folks. So if you want to know how to repair an air conditioner, they have a course for it. And you can do it either on your computer. You can grab the VR kit, put it over your head, and actually feel like you're right there working on the unit itself. So it's a great way for maintenance techs, maintenance supervisors to get even more education on how to repair equipment. And it's not just confined to HVAC. It's also appliances, anything you need to do to fix anything at the apartment.
Gotcha. Well, hey, we've got your email that we'll definitely put in the show notes, as well as a Calendly link. So if anybody wants to set up an appointment with you while you're there, but anywhere else they need to go to find out more information?
One thing to mention too, as they're looking, our services are completely free of charge. So there's no cost to join, become a member of OMNIA Partners, take advantage of all of those supplier partner relationships I mentioned earlier. If you're looking for batteries, for example, it's kind of one of those things. We have a relationship with Batteries Plus. So you can use those discounts at the Batteries Plus stores, et cetera. But if you'll go to omniapartners.com/multifamily housing, that gets you specifically into the multifamily housing sector. We do have two other sectors of our business: the public sector, which is colleges, universities, K through 12, that are on the nonprofit side. And then we've also got the private sector, which are the larger companies, Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 type companies that we work with. So specifically on the multifamily housing side, go there, or just go to omniapartners.com, click on the multifamily housing tile. You're right there. You can see our GPO offerings. That'll take you to a list of all of our supplier partners that you can take a look at, and then reach out to me, and I can get you in touch with the right folks within our organization to help you.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the public sector, because I know we'll have a lot of university administration that always comes to this, even though it's a mainly off-campus event. There's typically a lot that end up showing up, either to provide some knowledge, or they're looking for a partner, from a P3 standpoint that can help them, deliver some housing, because right now universities don't really want to be in the game of developing housing. They would rather be developing classrooms. So there's typically a dozen or so university administrators that are always hanging out there. So that'll be good for them too. In fact, I've already had one university administrator reach out to me specifically about this series, because this is his first time going, and he really appreciated the first couple of episodes we've already put out. So, well, Ken, I appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for helping out with everything that we're doing from a student housing insight standpoint, and a lot of the topics you come in and help us cover. I really appreciate that. And we'll see you in Austin.
All right, Wes. Well, it's always good to see you. Glad to help with the things that you're doing, and looking forward to seeing everybody. Let's all get together. It's going to be fun.
All right. Take care.